Hello guys, good morning. Today Tuesday we're going to see global citizenship from page 125 to page 128. Okay, only 4 pages. Okay, so we're going to start with this one. It says African Americans from southern states in office 1870 to 1876. Read the table and answer the following questions. African Americans began to take offices after the Civil War. This means they worked in the government and were voted for by the public. Okay, I repeat. African Americans began to take offices after the Civil War. This means they worked in the government and were voted for by the public. Okay, so we have a chart here where we have the states, the state legislators, the U.S. senators, and the U.S. congressmen. Okay, so in the state we have Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, Mississippi, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, and Virginia. Okay, and you have, for example, Alabama. It has 69 state legislators, 0 U.S. senators, and 4 U.S. congressmen. Okay, and then you continue with the next one. You can see all of the numbers. For example, in Louisiana, it says that we have 87 state legislators, 0 U.S. senators, and 1 elected but did not serve U.S. congressman. It says that he was elected but he didn't work as a congressman, was only elected. Okay, then we have the questions here. Number 1, what is the total number of state legislators? So you're going to add all of these numbers and that is going to be the answer. Okay, then it says the U.S. senators, how much or how many in total are the U.S. senators, and how many are in congressmen, U.S. congressmen. Okay, then number 2, which state elected the fewest African Americans in this period? Which state elected the fewest, the less, okay, los menos que eligieron o they chose, the fewest African Americans in this period? Okay, so you need to write which state elected the fewest African Americans. Okay, then number 3, which state elected the most African Americans in this period? So now you're going to do the opposite. You're going to write the state that had the most African Americans. Okay, and that's it for page 125. Let's go to page 126. Last seen ads. Read the following text. It was 10 months after the Civil War ended. An advertisement appeared in the newspaper. It started, information wanted by a mother regarding her children. The ad was written by Mary Bailey. She was a former slave. She had been sold twice since she had last seen her 5 children. I repeat, she had been sold twice since she had last seen her 5 children. The ad listed her children's names: Nancy, Ben, Polly, Tempa, and Isham, or Isham, I don't know, were last seen in Tennessee. The Emancipation Proclamation had made her free, but she could not find her family. This advertisement was one of thousands. They were called last seen. That, if we want to say it in Spanish, es como última vez visto. Slaves had lived in constant fear of being torn from their family. Children were separated from their mothers, husbands were separated from their wives, brothers were separated from their sisters. Most slaves owners did not care how this would make family members feel. To them, the slaves were property. Like, they didn't care to separate the families. They were like, we don't care. They are just slaves. They didn't care. So, former slaves were looking for their lost relatives. Lost relatives son sus familiares perdidos. Some searched for years. We don't know if Mary Bailey ever found her children. Slavery had ended, but it was a long time before African Americans felt truly free. So, oh my goodness, so sad. We don't know if that mother found her children. That is so sad. Now, wanted information in relation of my children, Nancy, Ben, Polly, Tempa, and Isham Bailey, who firmly belong to Ben, Prince, Sussex County. If any of them are living, or if any person can give me information of them, they will confer a great favor. Address me in this city, care of Mr. George D. Fisher. Mary Bailey Colored. Oh my goodness. Okay, now let's go to page 127. Answer the following questions. Why do you think the author said it was a long time before African Americans felt truly free? Why do you think the author said that? Well, in my case, I would say that because it didn't matter that they had the right to vote or that they were like a little bit free. They were not entirely free, okay? So yes, they could vote, they could go to the streets, they could, I don't know, buy in the supermarkets, things like that. But the racism continued, so it didn't stop, right? So it says, it was a long time before African Americans felt truly free. So you need to explain why the author said that. Number 2, why were there thousands of ads? What was happening that the people were publishing the ads? You know, ads, the advertisements, las noticias o publicidad or los posters. Okay, why were there thousands of ads? Why the people were using ads? We just read it. Okay, it is on page 126. Number 3, how did this text make you feel? In my case, I don't know, it made me feel like so sad, and at the same time I felt angry because it's not fair to separate families from each other, right? So yes, it's a little bit sad. So you need to explain how you feel or how you felt reading the page 126. Now, class discussion. Well, in this case, we're not in class, but it's okay. You can do it by yourself. Has anything like slavery ever happened in your country or another part of the world you know besides the United States? Discuss your thoughts with the class, then talk about these questions. How was this time in history similar to slavery in the U.S. and how it different? Remember that we talked about it when we read about Muhammad Ali, and also when we read about Gandhi. Remember? So it's something like that. Now, how could you find more about how it affected people after it ended? What could we do to make sure nothing like slavery happens again? So this class discussion is just for you. You're going to read the questions and you're going to answer them for yourself, okay? Or by yourself. Now you have the self-assessment. What facts have surprised you so far in this unit? So we have read a lot about racism, about slavery, about African Americans. And what I want you to tell me in these 2 lines, it's what have surprised you, like something that have make you feel like, oh my God, that is what you're going to write, okay? Then we go to page 128, and it says, answer the following questions. Number 1, what happened to slaves after the North won the Civil War and the Emancipation Proclamation was ordered? This is like a review of everything that we have read, okay? Number 2, once slaves were free, they quickly became wealthy. Wealthy is rich. It's a synonym of rich. True or false? Number 3, about 4 million slaves were freed after the Civil War. Was that true? True or false? Number 4, people treated freedmen fairly and equally after the Civil War. Was that true? Were they treated equally? True or false? Number 5, Abraham Lincoln had plans for rebuilding the South after the Civil War. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to finish these plans. Why? Why he couldn't continue with his plans? Number 6, explain a way people from the North helped those in the South after the war. So remember that they had the Civil War, and everything like was destroyed. They didn't have schools, they didn't have farms, like everything was destroyed. So in what way the North people helped the South people? In what way? ¿De qué manera los ayudaron? Number 7, where would you have wanted to live after the Civil War? The North or the South? Give 2 reasons to support your decision. So here you're going to choose where you wanted to live after the Civil War, in the North or the South. And you need to give 2 reasons why you chose one of those 2 places. Number 8, was life difficult for freedmen after the Civil War? Give 2 reasons for your answers. So again, was life difficult for freedmen after the Civil War? So yes, the Civil War finished, but were they like really free? Was so difficult to be free? And you need to give 2 reasons why was so difficult after the Civil War. And that's it for today. Only those 4 pages. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye bye.